We got a bad review one time at we played Park Street.
I'm here for this.
I got called Hans Gruber, which I was quite proud of, to be honest.
That's not bad, actually.
I was boss.
The lost penny lane, football on the brain, a stew called Scouse, Lacoste, North Face or Berghaus. It's the Scouse House, it's the Scouse House.
It's time for me to thank another one of our supporters, and it's Stuffed Crosby, Crosby's latest delicatessen. You can get all kinds of goodies from Stuffed. Most importantly, you can get meal plans by Prepped by Stuffed. Listen to this, you can get 5 meal plans for just £35, or you can get 10 for just £60. What are your options, I hear you ask? You can get a bit of jerk chicken. You can get some steak strips. If you want to go the vegetarian route, there's some halloumi. Do they do vegan stuff? I don't know. You'll have to ask them. And you can do that by getting in touch with them on Instagram, prepped_by_stuffed.
In true Liverpool fashion, we set this interview up, I don't know if you remember, in Botan kebab shop at about 1 a.m. in the morning a couple of weeks ago. Shout out Botan on Berry Street. You go there often?
Yeah, when I'm drunk, usually. Don't usually remember them, to be honest.
And you were drunk and you agreed to do this and now you're regretting it.
Yeah. I didn't think... Well, I didn't remember until you text me and then I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Was it... what did you get?
Oh, I can't remember. I think I went cheese chips.
Yeah.
Cheesy chips, yeah. I don't know what you got, mate. I didn't stay long enough. You said yes, and then I got off.
That was it, done. Before I could go back.
Hit and run. It was a hit and run. A drive-by interview. All right, Fran, welcome. For those that don't know, I mentioned already, you're the front man of a band called the Red Rum Club. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah.
6 of yous.
Yeah.
So, do you know the names of the other 5, or...?
I wish I didn't, honestly. I wish I didn't meet some of them.
Can you remember them all?
Yeah. Just about. There's Neil, he sits at the back. He's the only Evertonian in the band.
You let one in.
Yeah. He's pretty good on the drums, that's why.
Oh, right, yeah.
Got Simon on bass.
Yeah.
Doesn't like football.
Okay.
But a great bassist. He's the true rock star of the crew.
Is he?
Yeah. And then Tom and Mike are the guitarists.
Okay.
And Joe plays trumpet.
Joe is trumpet.
Yeah, Joe the Blow, as he's been nicknamed.
Joe the Blow, all right. So that's the full Red Rum Club lineup. You're recording, and we'll come back to this maybe later on in the conversation. The reason you're recording a brand new album right at the moment. You've took time out the day really to come and do this interview. So you're excited about doing that, going through that recording process?
Yeah, this is like the busiest time. You know, like from the outside, it probably seems like if you're a Red Rum Club fan, if people are following us and that, it probably seems like, well, where'd they go? They probably expect us to be in Barbados or in Ibiza or something, but this is like the busy bit where like, right, no, let's get the next set of songs and stuff. And it causes murder all the time.
Yeah.
You know, I'll be here for an hour or two with you, and then I'll go back and they've probably done something that we're going to argue about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm going to be like, take that off or whatever.
Really?
But this is the stressful bit. This is the bit like that it'll be etched into history. You know, like once the song's gone, the song's done, it's released and it's out there, and people can like it or not like it. So this is the moment where you make big decisions. Like,
of course it is. And so where are you actually recording?
We're in Kempton Street, which is the old Park Street. The guys who had Park Street, they've all moved across there, and it's state of the art, brand new, like all suspended in rubber, like the studio. It's absolutely unbelievable.
Suspended in rubber?
Yeah, so they build up the floor, build in the walls, and build down the ceiling so that the whole thing's suspended. It's almost like if there's an earthquake outside, the room wouldn't really move as much. You know,
sounds like you should be at Alton Towers recording albums. Is it safe?
I think it's all right, but you just don't jump up and down. You know,
okay, yeah. Nice. Well, we'll come back onto a background onto the recording of the new music and the album stuff like that. But let's with the Scouse House, we were talking about Liverpool, people from Liverpool. Obviously, you're from Liverpool yourself. From whereabouts did you grow up?
I was like the north, so I went to school in Thornton, which is like near Crosby. Waterloo. My family have a lot to do with Bootle Football Club.
Yeah.
So I was always like there, but yeah, it's mainly the north end, up by the beach.
Up by the
tan.
beach. In Crosby, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I know that area well. I'm as you know, number one comedian in
Number
Crosby,
one.
and I want to get you on because I know you're a big fan of mine,
Of course,
and it's mutual very much. So, where did you go to school then?
Holy Family. I went to school.
Shout out, Holy
Shout
Family.
out Holy Family. Yeah.
Did music, was that something when you were at school? Did that even start back then?
No,
or-
that was like, just towards the end of school, so it was probably 14, 15. I was getting to that point where, like, girls become a thing, and people started
this?
going out and go to parties, and I was like, well, okay, so how do I get invited to parties, or how do I impress girls, or how do I, like, sort of also make mates, you know what I mean? Be able to, like, you know, I bond over music. Probably that age where you start to, like, get your own, like, independent, like, interests and whatever. And I realised I wasn't going to be the next Steven Gerrard. Probably realised that well before that, to be honest. So I was like, well, I probably should do something else with, you know, rather than playing football 7 times a week.
Yeah.
I'll probably just, like, so I picked up a guitar. And then I'd done it really to impress girls and to make mates and to get free drinks, really.
Oh, very honest of you.
Yeah.
Very honest of you. I mean, by the way, you should say this. Good footballer.
I used to be when I was younger.
Yeah. Well,
Used to be
you and I
much
both. We're Waterloo GSOB legends, to be honest with you.
Legends, yeah, I
We
think
might
we're
get
on
into that. I've scored a 90-odd minute winner in a cup final for Waterloo. Fran, you've done the bits
I've done the bits on the left, yeah.
for Waterloo. We might get into amateur football if you've got time later on. So,
Of course, murder.
well, exactly, yeah. So you start, 15, 16, playing music and stuff like that. I'm going to take you back to around 2010, 2011. I'm in a bar called Blues Bar in Crosby, still there. Shout
Yeah,
out
yeah.
Blues. I'm watching the band. I don't know for sure whether you were called this at the time. It might have been Small Print. And it seemed like it was a similar lineup. Certainly a few of the guys that are in Red Rum Club now. I don't know if it's changed a little bit, but I'm watching you guys back then. Arctic Monkeys covers, maybe a few originals. I'm thinking, these have got something here.
Yeah.
These are playing tight, you know what I mean? And I know, like, I'm not a music aficionado, but you know when you can just sense these have got something here. There's a bit of a chemistry here. It's not just lads pissing about.
Yeah.
Was that 2010, 2011?
That would have been, yeah. I would have been 15, 16, maybe 17.
Wow.
So you know, Blues let me in illegally, probably. No, maybe a bit. Maybe I was a bit older, but it was that. It was like that's why we were doing it. We would practice all week, you know, after school or after college or whatever, and then we go and play a pub, and you get, you know, 30 quid each and a few free pints, and you tell all your mates that you were playing, and you go down there and you do it. But it did feel like something was like. It just felt like something was cool. Do you know what I mean? It felt like me and Tom, who's my cousin, we started playing together. I got a guitar for Christmas. He got a guitar for Christmas, and then we'd spend like the weekends together, just messing around, playing whatever covers. They were like our Glastonbury moments. A gig in Blues on a Saturday night was like, yeah, okay, we've got that, and like we were working our whole week or whole month towards that.
Yeah.
And it just come from there. First of all, it went from like a naivety thing. It was an ego-driven thing of like, no, I'll get on stage and I'll sing and we'll be boss and we'll show our mates. And then it got to a point where we were like, actually, we just like doing the music. You know what I mean? We're quite good at it. And we went into that world of like going down that rabbit hole of like, oh, actually, you know, did you know this about this song? And we become like music nerds.
Yeah.
And that just like continues until we become major nerds. Like, yeah.
The name Small Print, is that being retired?
That's retired.
Yeah, I think it's probably for the best. I think Red Rum Club is a much cooler name. Yeah. I don't think many people have got many good things to say about Small Print.
Yeah. That's
maybe called parking fines.
That's the first time I've ever thought of that.
Yeah.
That's the first time I've ever thought about like the connotations of small print. If that song that come about because we were just like, right, we've got a gig Saturday. It was our first gig, and we were like, okay, what should we call ourselves? And we were leaving practice, and we were like, yeah, it's just Small Print. Tell them to put it Small Print on the poster. And we were like, oh yeah, sounds, and went.
Nice.
And that was it. Yeah, we didn't even think about it that easily.
And then where did Red Rum Club come from?
We grown up and we bought a leather jacket, and we were like starting to write our own songs then. And then we were like, no, we're actually cool. Like we need a cool like name. Took ourselves a bit too seriously. And someone said to our Thomas, go and watch films that you like and just get a quote or get like a thing from that. And he went to Shining and he come back and was like, what about Red Rum? We're like, oh yeah, Red Rum. And then we're like, but that's the horse. If someone just Googles Red Rum, you'll find the horse, or you find like the loads of pubs or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
And he was like, okay, put club on the end, because it's like an inclusive thing. It's like, oh, if you're part of the club, and we can have a slogan of like, be in the club, or are you in the club, or something like that. I think the first one was Stamps 2 in Waterloo.
Well, that was where I did my very first stand-up gig.
Was it?
Yeah, yeah.
No way.
Yeah,
It's not Stamps 2 anymore, is it? It's called the Waterbudley or something.
Oh, that's it, yeah. Andy, our producer's giving a thumbs up there to Fran, good knowledge.
You in there all the time, Andy. Yeah.
He's a barfly, apparently, in the water pulling. So, where's your favourite place to gig then in Liverpool? If it's like a small gig for bands that are coming through.
It used to, well, it's the Zanzibar. Zanzibar's changed.
That's the answer. It's not an opinion.
Yeah, no, it is the Zanzibar. Like, everyone will say the Zanzibar was the place. Unfortunately, it's not what it was now. There's a guy called Tony who ran it. Sadly, he died, passed a few years back, and he was just holding it up. And within a couple of months of him passing it, it sort of changed its whole aesthetic and stuff. It used to just be full of bands and upcoming bands, and he'd do like a Wednesday and a Saturday afternoon where you could go if you were like underage, and there'd be hundreds of kids in there, and he'd just be playing again like covers and stuff like that, messing around. But then it also had like big acts. It was like a well-known, it's probably there in Heebie-Jeebies, the two well-known like venues in town that all the out-of-town bands, people coming up from Liverpool, be like, where's Heebie-Jeebies, where's the Zanzibar? Because everyone played there. Yeah. It was a bit ramshackle, it was a bit like all over the place, but it was only that because there was a gig every night, and it probably had been for like 10, 15, 20, however many years, you know what I mean? So it was functioning, and that was it. You go in there, you get a can of Red Stripe, and you know, you'd enjoy some either rubbish music or really good music in a really tight, close venue.
Yeah.
That was we probably played there the most out of everyone, out of every venue, really, to be honest. Tony just rang us and said, do you want to play Saturday? We've got a band in London coming up. And we're like, oh, yeah, go ahead, we'll come up.
You've got to take those opportunities for, like, in comedy, we call it stage time. And when you're coming through, it's like putting 10,000 hours, they say, isn't it, about becoming an expert? So sounds like you've got a lot of,
well, that's it.
Props to Zanzibar type thing.
Yeah, it's just, we always used to say, we'd be the yes men. We'd be like, yeah, okay, let's go and do it. Yeah, and we still like that now. There's still things that like come up and you're like, oh, maybe we should not do that. Maybe should we do? You know, is it financially viable? Is it like, because everyone got the time to do it? Are you free that day? You know, the six of us, it's quite complicated and whatever. But we put it as a priority. The band as a priority because we want to do it. Do you know what I mean? And we over the years probably took like 5 years, but it's got us somewhere now where if we wanted to say no to things, we could. We never do, but we're in a position, and you know, we've got some bargaining chips where we're like, actually, no, let's leave that because we've got like a bit of a professional path to go on here.
100%, yeah. I mean, it's like taking gigs when you first start out. You just say yes to everything, and you obviously regret some of those calls, but nonetheless, you still learn.
Yeah,
even from the nightmare gigs. I mean,
definitely.
What's like one of your nightmare gigs around Liverpool? Have you got a few?
Not so much nightmare gigs. We got a bad review one time we played Park Street.
I'm here for this.
Yeah. And it was just like, I think we just released 2 or 3 singles on Park Street's own record label.
Yeah.
Because of a fellow called Chris Taylor, who produced our first 3 albums. And he was just putting on a night. He recorded a few local bands, and he was like, right, let's just put a gig on. All the bands will go and play and whatever, and we'll do some vinyls and we'll sell them and use all invite, you know, like sort of a cross-contamination of fans and that, make a bit of a scene. And we got a bit of a bad review on that one. Like,
right.
We got it was, I think we got misquoted in one of the lyrics saying it was a little bit seedy or something, and then we got like...
seedy? From Doran?
Never. I got called Hans Gruber, which I was quite proud of, to be honest.
That's not bad, actually.
I was boss. I was like, who's that? And then
just looking at the
like,
camera.
That's dead cool.
What's one of his lines? Can't remember.
Oh, I can't remember that one.
No. We'll try and think of
It's
one
more-
later and
it's
put
more-
it, insert it in.
Yeah, it's more dingoes in it. But yeah, it was just like we never like have bad shows, you know what I mean? Because we'd always come off stage, we'd enjoyed ourselves, we're usually well prepared, and usually just like we'd learn something about one of the songs or whatever.
Yeah.
And you come off and say, "Oh, that was good." Oh, that was bad, wasn't it? Yeah, it was bad. Let's go to the bar. Like that's as bad as a gig can get, really. You know, unless someone falls over or like seriously injured.
Yeah.
Then it's not really a bad gig, really, is there? Do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah. There's always, as I say, even if it's going wrong, there's something to learn, isn't it? If it's about setup or being prepared or whatever, I've definitely been there. When I first started comedy, as you probably well know, I was doing bits on the guitar myself, bit of musical comedy, and I did a charity gig in a place called the Dunnies. On I think it's Rice Lane or not far from there, and it wasn't great. It wasn't great, but weirdly,
But you remember it. You'll remember that forever.
I will. I mean, I was the comedian on the night, which was a mistake. So I just things that you learn about. It's not a stand-up show. It's get people who've not necessarily bought a ticket to see a comedian. It was a charity night. There was a singer on. The DJ was that Billy Clements. And I was the comedian after just a few months experience. Yeah. But weirdly, I brought because I was playing this parody song at the time. Jerry Cinnamon's Belter. I was singing "She's a Scouser" and changed the lyrics. It was hilarious. That got them on side. Like half the room just totally disinterested in some bloke telling jokes, and then played that song. Turned around, that's good. That.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I put the guitar down, he just turned back again. It went shite.
So you should have been a musician. Really.
I came off and some lad said to me, "Were you the comedian that weren't funny?" At the end of the one, was the only comedian on, mate. So I guess I must have been. But character building. I think that's what they're saying, it, mate.
You've got to do the bad ones.
Yeah,
because you probably know this yourself. Like you can see the people that haven't. You can see the people that went straight like from whatever, whether they're talented or not, but they go there. That's how you like divas come about. I think it's probably a good thing, and maybe a working class thing too. That like. You've got to be grateful for everything you get. So when you get the opportunities and when things are going well, you appreciate them a little bit more. And you've got to have the bad ones before they go well in order to be like, well, it could be like that, boys. You know what I mean? We recorded a few singles, put them out, and every time we put a new song out, we'd go on tour. We'd ring a fella in Sheffield and go, can we play one night? And he'd go, yeah. And then we'd ring a fella we knew in Manchester who'd get us a show, and one in Glasgow and one in London. And then we'd do a tour. We'd do like release a single and then do a tour.
Yeah.
And most of them we'd done that probably 4 or 5 times. And 5 people become 10, 10 become 20, and 20 become, and before you know it, you're selling out like 100, 150, 200 cap rooms. Then we got signed in 2018, put the first album out in 2019, and then it's been like a whirlwind. Like we've got 3 albums out, and everyone's like, oh, and we're recording now. We don't know whether it's going to be the 4th album or whether we're going to wait on it or just the material, whatever. But everyone's like, oh, 4th album. I'm like, yeah, but we it's only 2019 since we've done it. We're in a bit of a rush. We know the state of the world in the sense that like everything's instant. If you want like a takeaway, you can get it straight away. If you want like to find someone who's on the other side of the world, or like ring someone who's on the other side of the world, you can do it instantly. If you Tinder and Grindr, if you want to hook up with someone, you can get it like that. Everything's instant. So we were just like, no, just keep putting stuff out, just keep putting material out. That, as well as the fact that we never had a major money behind us. We had some money, not going to deny that, but not major money in comparison to like other people. So it was just like go. So 2019, then put a second album out during COVID. We'd recorded it just before COVID, and we had it, and we were like, should we wait? And the record label were like, well, it's up to you boys. You're probably going to take a hit financially.
I remember coming back. Do you remember you gave me a lift back from a footy match we both played in, and I remember this conversation. You were talking about you'd just done an album, and it was you were having all these things about your tour, so on and so forth. So is that 2018, 19, 2020? That's when you're starting to think things are happening for us now.
We'd signed a record deal. Do you know what I mean? And someone was paying for us to go in the studio, and then would print vinyl and CDs of ours, and we had to get artwork and shoot music videos and that. We were like, this is what we wanted.
Yeah.
And it, you know, it still feels like that now. Do you know what I mean? It's exactly the same. The stakes have gone up a little bit. And there's more listeners and stuff, but that's exactly what it was. It's kicked off around then, and then COVID happened, and we were like, oh God, like we thought it'd just fizzle out. Well, we never thought it would, but we had that like worry in our head. So we just put the album out. We took a big financial hit because, you know, when you put an album out, you then go on tour and you make your money when you go on tour, or you do that, you promote it, and you can. Well, we were just sat in, you know, our living rooms, like, oh yeah, we've got a song out, everyone, like that was it. But it benefited us because everyone else had like cleared the runway. Everyone else was like, no, let's wait. We're not taking the financial hit, or a lot of people did. We ended up getting like Radio 2 playlists on BBC and stuff, and
Amazing.
One of the songs, Eleanor, was played like 10 times a day for like 6 weeks and like all over radio.
Yeah,
national radio, the biggest listenership in the country and stuff.
I was gonna say it didn't feel like you lost any momentum at all.
It was the opposite. Yeah, it was sort of like you know, everyone went one way. Everyone was like, no, we shouldn't because of this. We were like, well, let's just do it, and we'll write another album if we get the chance.
Yeah. So the last album, How to Steal the World. Title, I was thinking, does it perpetuate that Scouse stereotype about Scousers being thieves or whatever? Did you think about that? Or?
Yeah, we did, but that was like a secondary thing. It was more we had this. We were just coming out of lockdown, and Tom had wrote a song called "How to Steal the World," and it was because he was sat on his phone, and it came from a Kendall Jenner. Was it Kendall Jenner? Who's the tall one? The tall, skinny one. She's like the Superman. She had put a post up, and everyone was just living on Instagram or living on TikTok or YouTube or whatever at them, weren't they, during COVID. And she was laying on her bed, and it said "How to Steal the World" on a laptop behind her. And it was like, that is actually how you steal the world, isn't it? Like, you don't have to go and like have an army and go invade like, what all you have to do is just like be an online presence. You just need to be a presence. You just need to, you know, take a picture of you in a sunset, and you know, somehow this is a new thing that you can be like a huge cultural relevance, and it come about like that. And then when the song was written, we were like, oh well, that's quite a cool saying, isn't it? Really, how to steal the world. It's almost like a manual. So and then we were releasing
a manual.
It was like a manual of like how to steal the world. Like these are the songs, and this is how we're gonna steal the world.
Nice.
Like that was sort of how we seen it. We were just the world was waking up, coming out of COVID.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, we've got this album here, and this is our way of stealing the world, of like stealing the world that we want. You know what I mean? Like going and seeing things and like going on tour or whatever.
I asked the question as a bit of a piss take, but I'm kind of glad I asked it now because it is very insightful.
But then the steal thing was like as well. It was like, oh yeah, because the Scouser thing, people would get it. You know what I mean?
You've thought it through.
The UK thing, especially.
Nice. So you tour on the back of that, and I don't know exactly where you've been, but you've definitely been USA. Mm-hmm. Was it Mexico recently? Where have you found yourselves?
We've done 3 tours of the USA at the moment in the last 12 months. We've just come back a few weeks back, and we went to Mexico, played a show in Monterrey, ended up in the hills in a big mansion.
Bet you met a Scouser.
Actually, we did, yeah.
Yeah, of course you did.
Yeah, I mean, he was past the trip, but like we didn't know he was coming, and then we were in a bar like, huh, where are you from? He was just outside Liverpool.
Did you see the Monterex or whatever it was? Yeah.
Up in the hills.
Where did you hit in the States then?
So we, this time it was just Austin, Texas. It was a big music festival called South by Southwest.
I've heard of it.
It's like a new festival. A new music festival. Yeah. So like the whole music industry go there to find out what, you know, who's the next big thing, or like, you know, different genres, and to talk about like the music industry and whatever. It's like
zeitgeist.
Yeah,
lovely word.
Zeitgeist.
Don't know what it means, but yeah.
And then, but we've done a big tour, 4-week tour in October, and we went from east to west. We went like New York, and then up into Canada, New York down to Texas, and then up into Canada and down. Played 14 shows, finished in LA, and come home.
So, do you like being away from Liverpool with the lads?
I like it, yeah, because it is just with the lads, you know what I mean? Some of the shows get in the way at times. You wake up and you're like, right, what are we doing, boys? And we're like, we've got to go and sound check. We're like, no, you don't want to, do you know what I mean? But
professionalism, though, again,
yeah, you got to do it. But like when we go away, we know that Liverpool, like people are aware of our journey. You know, like I'll come back and I'll be in the pub, or I'll go and watch Bootle, and lads be like, oh, I seen you that was boss in New York, or that was boss in Austin where you were, or Mexico, you been to Mexico, that's great. Because people, I think, well, especially our fans, very proud of the fact that we're like, or you know, they're thankful that we're giving it a go. I think they recognise that we're like, we're not just like recording a song, releasing it, and going and playing a show in town.
Yeah,
we're not just doing that. We're not in it for just to be like that.
Just coming on the back of this last one and these last tours, I was mentioning to you the other day, I sent you a message about come back from Australia, got Red Rum Club on Qatar Airways, which was just like, you didn't even know that, I think. Yeah. I walk into the Stand Comedy Club in Newcastle, weekend just gone. Would you rather be lonely as playing as I walk in? It feels to me like things are just happening for you.
Yeah.
Does that feel like it to yourself?
It feels like we just arrived, even though we're 3 albums deep and we've done all these all these tours and whatever, and like been at it, you know, 100%. America tours and UK tours and Europe and festivals and whatever. It feels like people are just now like twigging. It's always felt like we've just been in Liverpool and we've like the music industry's been in London, and now and then we've dripped into the music industry, but I think everyone's sort of like realising now, there's like, actually, we're just turning out song after song now. We're not stopping. We're not just like, we're doing it because we love it and we like the band and whatever. We're not doing it to be on the telly. We're not doing it to be famous and whatever. We're just doing it because we like music and we want it to be our profession. So I think people are taking this a lot more seriously now. And this sort of export, like you say, the Liverpool thing that goes ahead, ahead of us is a big thing too. It's like, oh well, people always look to Liverpool for the next band or the next, you know, the next guitar sound or whatever. And it feels like people just getting onto it slowly but surely now.
Because when you're in the States, I mean, I might get this slightly wrong, but when you were in the States, your music was featured on, was it the coverage of NFL?
The NFL, yeah.
So we about like, how has that happened?
We were in Nashville. We sat on a rooftop terrace. And there was a big screen across the road, huge, big, massive screen showing the NFL. But obviously, because it was across the road, we were just like, oh, who's playing there? It was the Denver Broncos versus someone. Oh, the Denver Broncos boys playing, and thought nothing of it. And we're just like thinking, massive that screen, isn't it? Crazy. And then we were like, mad. Half watching the game, half getting drunk. And then we got back and we got a tweet, and someone was like, see this today, blah, blah. And we're like, what? Like, we were watching the whole game, and because the telly was across the street, there's no volume on it.
Unbelievable.
And our song was getting played as we were watching it, going, Denver Broncos. Didn't even realise it was like, it was getting played.
Your music, and it was the song Vibrate.
It was Vibrate, and then he'd done another one a few weeks later. Did you just drop in and out now? It's crazy.
It's brilliant. I mean, I remember again, football changing room with you, came to stop by here saying that new song you've got, Vibrate, what a melody. I love it, and it's not surprising it's being used.
Yeah, it's a cool one. Like.
And you've got a few songs like that, haven't you, by the way? I think, is it Come Back Anna Marie? I think that's the intro to that song's just got Goal of the Month. Back in music all over it.
Yeah, well, you always think that, like, you'd always, like, when you're writing and recording stuff, that's probably why we're arguing. Well, but this is the period where the pressure's on. You think, like, when you listen to it, when you're writing a song and recording it, you're like, where can this, you know, what could this be on? Could this be on a film? Will people listen to this in the bedroom after a breakup? Or will shagging. People, shagging. Or will people listen? They won't listen to us while they're shagging, don't worry about it. Will people listen to this, get pumped for a night out?
Have you ever listened to yourself?
No, never.
We'll have to take
I don't even listen to myself at all.
Right.
Once it's recorded, that's it.
Will you listen to this podcast?
No.
Fair enough. That's
I'll watch it on mute. That's what I'll do.
Okay, yeah.
Just to make sure I look good.
Great stuff. I think we need a little bit of a break. Fran, I've done this with previous guests, a little quiz going into the break. I'll do it with yourself. I might have made a mistake here because I presumed Red Rum Club came from the love of the horse, and I've got here 3 quiz questions about Red Rum Club.
Okay.
50th anniversary of Red Rum's first win in the Grand National. I'm sure you knew that, Fran.
Yeah, did you? Yeah.
So, question number 1. How many times did Red Rum...
3.
Yes. Let me ask the question before...
Is that right, though?
Yeah, I think everyone knows you've already got that right. I mean, we normally come back for your answers after the break, but okay.
All right.
Question 2 is, what was the name of the trainer of Red Rum? He knows it.
Ginger McCain.
Ginger McCain, he's got it. And then question number 3. Red Rum won his first Grand National in 1973, 50th anniversary. But which horse finished second in that race? I've got him.
You got me. Don't know. Don't know that one, no.
Well, it was Crisp.
Crisp.
So in a parallel universe, mate, you could be the frontman of a band called the Crisp Club.
Crisp Club. That's my solo project.
Big thanks to one of our supporters. It's Kingfisher Carpets and Artificial Grass. It's open now at Kingfisher Business Park in Bootle, Liverpool's newest carpet and artificial grass showroom. They've got a website, of course they have. It's kingfisher-carpets.co.uk, and on Instagram, it's kingfisher.carpets. It's still summertime. Why not get yourself some artificial grass for the front lawn there? Really low maintenance, and make the garden look spick and span. Be the talk of the town. Get in touch with Kingfisher Carpets and Artificial Grass.
Part 2 with the Scouse House with Fran Doran. We're back with, well, Fran Doran was it, aka Hans Gruber. Everybody, we've found a line. Producer Andy's giving you a line. You're going to deliver it right down the barrel of this camera. Fran, here we go.
I'm not doing the accent though.
Yeah, I might get in trouble.
Now I have a machine gun. Ho, ho, ho.
Yeah, I think
Probably
you
misquoted it, didn't I?
needed the accent, I think. Do you want to go again? Or?
No, that's fine.
Fair enough. Good fair play for even have a go. God bless him. Fran, as you said at the start of the interview, you're taking some time out of the recording schedule with the boys. You're recording new music for a new album.
Yeah.
What's it going like? It surprised me the other day. It's like a 9 to 5 schedule, is it? Or?
Yeah. This is the serious bit. Like I said, this is where like you wake up, you get in the studio, and you're there all day, and it's really like, don't want to say it's intense. Like there's a producer as well as like 6 opinions. We've learned to deal with these things now. We've learned how to like just like let the song be and stuff, whatever, and know each other's strengths and weaknesses. So if someone's got an opinion on the certain thing, you usually know they're talking, right. To be honest,
as opposed to
the other one, wrong.
Nice.
But this is the pressure. Like this is like the bit where we feel it, because it's just so precious to us. These are the things that are gonna go out there, and as soon as as much as these are Red Rum Club songs, this is how I feel about music, or our music especially, and probably other artists too. As soon as you release it, as soon as people hear it, it's on Spotify and it's on a CD and whatever, it's no longer yours. It's like we've just made it, and then we give it to the listener, and they make their minds up about what it's about and how it makes them feel and who it's about, and whether it brings up nostalgia or whatever it does. It's theirs. So you start like preempting those things and being like, okay, so this is how this song's meant to make someone feel. It makes me feel this way. Will it make you feel that way? So it's this is the exciting bit. This is the art. This is where you start to have like inspiration and like little bits of creation going along. So yeah, this is the bit you're in it for, to be honest.
And Red Rum Club fans, I mean, we're not going to say, like, we're going to push you on like what's going to be called or song titles or whatever. But is there a new sound emerging? Is there like a sort of a sound evolved from one album to the next? Are you feeling that coming through?
Yeah, we always do. We always try and make a conscious effort. Otherwise, you just get stale. Don't know really. We've got a new producer, guy called Rich Turvey, who's done like Blossoms and stuff like that. We're in with him. And obviously he brings a different thing. He's got different tricks, he's got different bells and whistles. But we're quite good at just like letting the songs be the songs now. We're confident in our own ability that like if we think it's good, usually.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's no real like conscious decision. If you do that, you probably mess it up. If you go like, right, we want to sound like this, we want this to be the thing, and blah, blah, blah. If you do that, you probably either undersell it or oversell it and it becomes corny, or you'd undersell it and it's like, well, yeah, it's just a letdown of... whereas if you just let the songs be the songs and it becomes its own thing, I think you can take inspiration, little pockets of like, oh, put that in there because it sounds a bit like a game show, the theme or something. But you don't think about that too much. We've done that and we've messed it up before.
Yeah, you're not writing for TikTok.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're not writing for anyone. You're just on the hoof. Music is about emotion. Music's about how things make you feel in that moment. So
Red Rum Club on the hoof, nice.
on the hoof.
Got to get it in, haven't I? You talked before a little bit about, and I think you alluded to the musical cultural history of Liverpool as a city. You're recording essentially a new album in Liverpool. Did you feel that kind of like being part of that history, starting with, well, maybe even start with, but certainly the Beatles looms large and all the other great music and bands we've had?
Yeah.
Did you feel, by the way, did you have like favourites out of Liverpool bands and stuff like that?
I mean, yeah, you can't get away from the Four Boys, can you? You can't get away from the Beatles and stuff. The Zootons, the Coral, they were like heyday, like sort of Liverpool indie scene sort of thing. The Wombats, example, they all met here, didn't they? And the lead singer still lives here and stuff. But it's a very. I'm very aware of it. I think all the boys are very aware of it. It's probably one of the deepest like sort of motivations for me personally. Probably the same with the boys of like, you know, we've played big shows in Liverpool and we toured and we've done this, and we've done that, and whatever. But the deepest, and I don't think about it too much, and I probably never said it, to be honest, of the deepest motivation for me carrying on Red Rum Club and what I want Red Rum Club to be is in 20 years' time, someone to go, remember that band from Liverpool, and to be sort of somewhere in the list of like those bands you've just mentioned, like the Beatles and blah blah blah. And it's like just to put like our name in the ring of like we were part of the Liverpool scene once, and we were a Liverpool band. That's like probably the thing that drives us the most. However high we get up there, that's fine. But like, you know, just being a Liverpool band, being part of its heritage.
You said, didn't you, before, about you kind of feel like once you've done a song or an album, you've handed it over to the people, and then they come and tell you what it meant to them. I've had that with jokes, where people say like a joke that you've like long retired and you thought it was awful. You thought that absolutely killed me when you did this.
Yeah.
And you think, oh, perfect. You know, I still think about. I used to do a stupid like version of Yellow. I still do it sometimes. Yellow. Essentially, cool. Just it was the joke was they were all yellow and it was about the Simpsons. Thanks. But some people just think that was the best thing they've ever seen in comedy history. Apparently,
they said that to you.
I inferred it from the body language.
Oh right, yeah.
So you mentioned shows upcoming. I know you've got a couple of massive shows coming up this summer. Do you want to talk us through?
We've got lots of festivals all over the country, playing like Isle of Wight and Why Not Festival, Truck Festival, Tramlines Festival, all big deals sort of thing. We're getting to a point now where we're on like main stages, not quite like the headliner, but like, you know, the 4 o'clock afternoon where people are just getting jolly.
I'm in the same boat, mate. But you know intrinsically, and so do I, headline material, aren't we?
Yeah, we're getting there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just stabilisers still on maybe. And then we've got 2 big Liverpool shows. So we're playing with James and the Coral on the Pier Head.
That's going to be huge, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's massive. Like, that's a 12,000 people on the Pier Head, right in front of the Liver buildings. It's a Sunday bank holiday, 2nd of July. That is. So get your tickets.
And if anyone says you're Hans Gruber after that, there's nothing down for them, is there?
I might just go as Hans Gruber.
What was the line again? No, I can't do it.
Not doing it. And then, so that's the 2nd of July, big one, 12,000 people, with James, who are amazing. I've never seen him live, but everyone who's seen him live said like that's the band that they're most shocked by. And then we're playing, and the Coral are on that one too. Just that little band, the Coral, remember them?
I've heard of them, yeah.
Dreaming of you. And then we play in Bootle Canalside in Sefton.
Hometown
gig, quite literally a hometown gig. Like it's like a brand new venue that they're doing up at the moment. 3,000 people, sold out in a week. Less than a week, actually.
So where is it then for people?
Right next to Bootle Strand.
Nice.
Right next, like where the post office depot used to be. It's like tarmac now, but they've got like lots of funding to do it up. There's like a big decking area going on, and like bars, and there's an indoor stage, and then we're putting a big outdoor stage on.
And it's done. Is it done?
No, it's being done. Hopefully, it'll be done by July.
Yeah, Otherwise, you're playing in the Jollies.
Yeah, we were in the Strand. In the butcher, outside the butchers.
Outside the butchers. Would you rather get bacon? I don't know. Anyway, so you got those shows coming up and the festivals, mate. Any other plans for international touring?
Yeah, we've got to go back to America. Now that we've started, there's no point in just like, and we've got a taste for it, you know what I mean? We've got like friends in New York and Austin and Vancouver and places like that, in LA now, so it's just good to be able to go there and have a place to stay and play some shows, might as well. And I think we fit it. I think we fit the American market a little bit. We've got like a trumpet player, haven't we? And the sound's like really big and stuff. So, and the Liverpool link, the Beatles thing. So, you know, if you're a band from Liverpool, that gets you indoors. That, you know, you'd have to boot down. Otherwise, you'd be like, oh, they're a band from Liverpool. Like, oh,
yeah.
That's the export of Liverpool. There's music over there, as well as the football.
You've got to ride on those things, haven't you?
Yeah,
I mean, as a comic, like, you know, you rock up and sometimes I can hear audibly people in the audience, oh, it's a Scouser.
Yeah.
And you know, you've got to, you know,
and it's not,
it, haven't you?
Liverpool's known for being funny, you know, like hundreds of comedians say it's the worst place to play because the crowd are funnier than them. Like, it is that, but it can be a curse, but it can be a blessing. It can get you opportunities and you can, and people can make prejudgments over you, like, oh, they must be good, they're from, like, that sort of thing. Or it could be the other way. It's like, well, they can compare you to it. It's like, oh, they just want to be the Beatles, or they just want to be them, just want to be that. And it's like, it's okay, but you've still got to ride it. You've still got to fly the flag and like be, and in America they love it.
Yeah,
like, they're massive.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, we're going to get into some questions, and we put it out there the other day for some questions for Fran.
Was it all just a Waterloo team?
It wasn't, mate. It wasn't. But there might be one or two from them if you get to. I'm going to go quick fire. Best. What's your favourite pub in Liverpool?
The Volley. It's because it's on my road in Crosby, or Pogue Mahone's.
Nice. This is your opportunity to get free pints and food. Favourite restaurant?
Spit Roast or
Botan.
Bootle is that a restaurant? No.
You would pull up one. I think there's an emergency chair in the corner, isn't there? Botan.
Just in case, yeah. Or Picardo.
They're good shouts. Spit Roast in particular.
Spit Roast on a Sunday when you go over.
Yeah, nice. And your favourite band from Liverpool?
You can't say the Beatles because everyone says it, doesn't he?
You can if you want.
At the moment, the Cheap Thrills.
The Cheap Thrills, nice.
Yeah.
What for anyone that might not know who they are?
They got a song called Codependence, which is a belter that was out a few years ago, but they've just played a big show in Liverpool.
And what's the sound like?
I don't know, just a band, just like indie stuff. There's a bit of synth in there and stuff like that, but they probably describe it better than I would, to be honest.
I got another question. How did you acquire your first musical instrument?
My nan bought it for me from the Strand.
Very Strand heavy this episode all of a sudden, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. I remember getting paid.
Are you going to take the same instrument back with you for the Bootle gig?
Yeah, I should do, really, shouldn't I? I'll have to find that.
Full circle?
Yeah. I think it was like a Home and Bargain or an Argos thing, and it was a right-handed guitar with the strings changed, and yeah, God rest her soul, she got the bus to Strand and carried two back, because my brother, she bought my brother one as well, and she carried them back on the bus, two big massive guitars.
Lennon or McCartney?
McCartney.
Wow, that was quick.
Yeah.
Why?
As I was a kid, he was left-handed. I was like, oh, he's left-handed. Or also, I watched Get Back, and I was like, oh, John was just a bit of a hippie, wasn't he? And like, McCartney was actually driven. I'm like, come on, boys, let's write some songs. And like, yeah, I've got massive respect for him.
I didn't watch the documentary. My brothers told me about it. Did Lennon have a phrase about just leave it in the air? Let's just leave it
that was his thing. We'd turn up late. He was the last in all the time because he was off his rocker the night before and up all night with Yoko or whatever. And then, but McCartney was like there on time. Was like, come on, let's write some songs. We've got to keep this going. We're getting blah blah blah. And I think he just lost sight a little bit. John, do you know what I mean? He'd lost his way a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know if you know this. I'm in a band with my mate called The Buzz. Have you heard The Buzz?
The Buzz?
You haven't heard the Buzz?
Why haven't you got me onto the Buzz before this?
I'll send you some stuff that we've done. We've got 3 tracks. It's hard though, isn't it? Like making new music. It's just me and my mate Yeti. It's kind of a double thing, but what do you call it? A duo. That's it. But we've written a theme tune for this podcast, but we want you to do the vocals. Will you do that for us?
Yeah.
Nice one. Thank you, Fran. I'm just thinking, we always get to this point of the episode where it's the key question. Your favourite ever Scouser?
Oh, it's a hard one, isn't it? Might have already mentioned him, Paul McCartney. I might have already mentioned him. I think he grates on a few people, but I like him. He seems to be, he's all peace and love, but he's also like quite driven and quite like he's quite level-headed about things. You know what I mean? He's quite accepting of everyone. He carries this acceptance as well as being good morally. So like, he strikes me as a person who will sit down and speak with anyone. If you can be a far right loony Tory voting nutjob, you can be that, but he'd still probably just be there and be like, oh, how are you, sort of thing. It's that sort of acceptance as well, not being preachy, but also holding his morals firm and being absolutely unbelievable at music.
The back catalogue the guy's got, it's just incredible, isn't it?
Ridiculous. Even the stuff he's done since like after the Beatles and stuff, like just ridiculous. And Wings,
the band the Beatles could have been.
The band who should have been, yeah. And he hasn't, as someone said the other day, we opened Lipper and he does the graduations for when people go. I went to one the other day, my girlfriend graduated, and he hasn't missed a year since it's opened. Like, he could have very easily done the first couple and went, right, I'll give it a miss, especially at his age, you know what I mean? He's probably got bad back and bad knees and whatever. Yeah. He hasn't missed the graduation.
Any honourable mentions?
Jamie Gallagher, obviously. He's from up our end. We know Jamie. And just I'm aware of the 23 Foundation, what they done, and what they do. And they just do it quietly. They don't publicise it. They don't shout and scream. There's not a camera following them everywhere they go. Jamie just does. They just do it for the sake of it. And Jamie is fully behind it. He helped fund the Bootle books as inclusion team, disability team at Bootle.
Yeah.
They go to Belfast every year. And Jamie always helps, the 23 Foundation always help make that happen.
He's a legend, isn't he?
Yeah.
But we're going with Paul.
Yeah.
That was Fran Doran of Red Rum Club. Have you got anything else you want to mention? Anything else to promote?
I'm spent. That's me.
I'm
spent,
yeah. You can have your whisper on the way back to the studio, and you can see what the boys have done to some of your songs that you left.
Probably ruined it, yeah. Ruined it.
Well, thank you very much, Fran. Welcome back anytime. That was Scouse House podcast with Fran Doran of Red Rum Club. Every time you do one of those challenges with Gary Neville on Sky Sports, you always seem to win. Is that true?
Of course. What do you expect? You're just a little fat mank.